Hello everyone, Dr. Suneel, Dhand, medical doctor. Welcome to another video. There are few more terrible illnesses than dementia. And this is something that I see on an everyday basis in the hospital. Cognitive decline and dementia, once it afflicts people, the toll it has is absolutely unbelievable. Not only on the person themselves, who may frequently turn into a shell of their former selves. They may have gone from being fully independent and functional to within a couple of years being completely unrecognizable. But it is also a terrible toll on families and caregivers. In fact, one may argue that it's a bigger toll on families than it is on the person themselves. So that is why it is very important to do everything possible to naturally try to prevent or at least significantly delay the onset of cognitive decline and dementia. And there are many research-backed ways to do this. Are there any guarantees? Of course there aren't any guarantees. But despite what the medical industrial complex and big pharma may tell you, there really aren't any pharmaceutical products that can really make a significant difference. So really, anybody's best bet is to try to naturally work on this in any way possible before it occurs. And I'm going to share with you here 5 science-backed ways to try to do this. Number 1, dementia as type 3 diabetes, intrinsically linked to insulin resistance, which is basically pre-diabetes and type 2 diabetes. Have you heard dementia referred to as type 3 diabetes? Many people who know a thing or two about dementia risk actually do refer to it as type 3 diabetes. And we're talking about Alzheimer's dementia, and that is because insulin resistance and high blood sugars wreak havoc on the brain and the neurons which control cognitive function. Studies show that people with diabetes are at a much higher risk of developing dementia. In fact, one major study found that people with insulin resistance had significantly worse cognitive function over time. So what's the solution? Well, those of you who follow me regularly know that I will say work on naturally reversing pre-diabetes or type 2 diabetes. Of course, this isn't something that will happen overnight, but really think very carefully about cutting back on those bad carbohydrates, sugars, processed foods, prevent those constant insulin spikes and those associated glucose spikes due to food. Remember, glucose rises first and then insulin rises afterwards. Walk as much as possible, get your 10,000 steps in, engage in some strength training. All of those things will help to improve insulin sensitivity and help to reduce your risk of cognitive decline. Number 2, social isolation. This is a silent brain killer, and it happens to a lot of people as they get older. There is a very strong link between social isolation and cognitive decline. It's one of the most overlooked causes. Loneliness is linked to a much higher risk of dementia. Some studies even compare it to smoking in terms of its impact on health. One study found that socially isolated individuals had a 50% higher risk of developing dementia. Humans are social creatures. Now, you may not want to go out into a big crowd, and certainly don't be around people who you don't particularly like. That can be stressful, but make every effort to be connected in any way possible. And nowadays it can be online. Avoid social isolation, and most people don't like complete social isolation. So keep that in mind, and there are a number of ways nowadays that you can stay connected to people with similar interests. You can do hobbies together, lots of different things you can do, even speak on the good old-fashioned phone. Even simple things like joining a class or volunteering can make a difference. But please, whatever you do, try to avoid isolating yourself completely. And of course, this may require some effort, but if you crave connection inside, then make sure that you do connect with other people. It will do your brain some good. Number 3, natural compounds. There are a lot of natural compounds out there which have been shown in studies to reduce the risk potentially of cognitive decline. And 2 that I would like to focus on are ashwagandha and ginkgo biloba. Ashwagandha has been shown in studies to reduce stress, lower inflammation, and even support brain function. Studies have even found that it can help improve memory and cognitive function in people with mild cognitive impairment. How about ginkgo biloba? Well, ginkgo biloba is another powerful compound with research backing its role in improving blood flow to the brain. And I actually believe that a lot of these natural compounds are actually better than a lot of the pharmaceutical products that are marketed for Alzheimer's dementia. When you actually look at study results on those prescription drugs, they really are very questionable indeed. And of course, they come at a cost. And there are natural compounds out there that have been well studied. So feel free to do your own research on this. And on that note, I'm going to interrupt for a moment. I'm excited to announce that the next supplement, which we are releasing, is a memory and brain support, which I have personally formulated based on research I have seen, containing ashwagandha, ginkgo biloba, blueberry extract, L-theanine, and B vitamins, uniquely formulated based on research that I have seen. If you're interested to learn more, please click on the link down below. Number 4, keep your mind as active as possible. Treat your neurons like a muscle. That's basically what they are. The more you train them, the more they will develop. Because your brain is just like your muscles. If you don't use it, you lose it. Learning new skills, and remember it should be a new skill, will really challenge your neurons to develop and make new connections. So challenge yourself with puzzles, a new game, a new hobby, a new skill. Even playing a musical instrument, learning a new language, all of these things will really test your neurons. Studies show that lifelong learning helps build cognitive reserve, which can help protect against dementia. Instead of passively watching TV, try doing something more active. It could even be reading a book, but please keep that in mind. No pun intended. Keep your brain working. Number 5, sleep enough. We forget about this, your brain's natural detox system. And it has to be a sweet spot. It can't be too little, it can't be too much. But sleeping enough and optimizing your sleep is one of the best things you can do for long-term brain health. While you sleep, your brain goes through a cleaning process, removing toxins that build up during the day, including beta amyloid, the protein linked to Alzheimer's. Poor sleep is a direct risk factor for cognitive decline and dementia. Aim for a sweet spot for most people between 6.5 to 8.5 hours of high-quality sleep. Avoid screens before bed, keep your room cool and dark, and don't eat heavy meals too late. So there you go then, 5 natural strategies that I would like you to remember. Number 1, think of dementia as type 3 diabetes. Naturally reverse insulin resistance if that applies to you. Most people nowadays it does. Number 2, reduce social isolation. Number 3, optimize natural compounds that can help with brain and memory function. Number 4, keep your mind as active as possible and train your brain. And number 5, optimize sleep. Once more, there's no cure sadly for dementia. All anybody can do is try their best to naturally prevent it. We are not completely powerless. There are things we can do to really try to optimize brain function to hopefully ward off this absolutely terrible illness. And remember, even when signs of cognitive decline do occur, it can be considerably delayed. You don't need to turn into a completely non-functioning person at that first sign of cognitive decline. The process can be naturally slowed down. So please do give those strategies some thought. Thanks everyone for watching. Dr. Suneel Dhand. Feel free to leave a comment down below. Share with us any strategies you have to keep your mind and brain sharp. Check the links in the description down below, again, for our new memory and brain support supplement, my website, and all the other work we do. Hit the like button if you like this video, and the subscribe button for more similar videos in the future. Do share this video with anyone else who may benefit, and we will speak again in the next video.